It's me again, and I just wanted to say a few words about frequency. And I keep talking about frequency, and I think it's because, this whole everything is energy, frequency, and vibration thing, it really got in my head, and I've been really trying to work it out for a long time. What does this mean? Because I just kind of had a feeling like this is the key to the cosmos and, the key to navigating this new kind of realm, right? That we find ourselves in, this new space, frequency. So everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So we've been told, right, that we have to kind of cleanse ourselves and we have to raise our vibration and make sure our frequency is high. But how do we do it? And does it really make a difference? And yeah, just why? How does it make a difference? And so lately I've really been kind of analyzing what's around me in my environment, in a very neutral and I suppose kind of an elevated way. And I think we go through these kind of phases and levels and um, it's almost as though the blindfold that's been put on us it's almost in layers, and it's like, well, it's being unwrapped, and each time another layer is unwrapped, it's a little bit lighter, that we can see a little bit more. And so I just feel like I'm at that point with my understanding of frequency and vibration. Now, just because I understand it, it doesn't mean that I've mastered the art of transmuting it. All right. So that's what I'm also trying to do. But I just wanted to very quickly just underline and extra explain, what it means to me in that it might help you. So obviously we have the physical vessel. You've got yourself, and your vessel is made up of many different organs and parts, right? And then there's what we put into the vessel on a physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, all these different layers, all right? So on the physical level, it would be the food, or the medicine, or the drugs or the substances that we actually ingest and put into the physical vessel. And so obviously, you want to be keeping a kind of a score, a sort of, a captain's log of the state of the vessel, the state of your spaceship or your boat, whatever you want to call this thing that's getting us through, that's, carrying us through life, or rather that is we're in and life is happening around. Okay. And so obviously, you know that if you eat a piece of fruit, it's going to raise the vibration and the frequency of your vessel. Whereas if you're smoking a joint or knocking back the whiskies, it's probably going to kind of lower the vibration of your vessel. Now, I want to just say one thing about that, but I'm also just going to make a note so I don't, as usual, digress and not come back. So we're talking about frequency of the vessel, but I just wanted to make a note on the lower frequency things that we imbibe, because obviously if you're a super high vibrational person who's constantly happy, knows how to flip a mood, and maybe has never even been in a mood, then you can drink whiskey and you can have a few cigarettes, and it's not really going to have such a dramatic effect on your vibration, right? So it might bring it down a bit, but if you're so high vibe anyway, it's not going to have the same effect as it is on someone who is struggling emotionally and spiritually and is low vibration, which therefore, having a few drinks is going to lead to more drinks because there's a whole thing that goes on there. So it's about always taking stock of, what's going in and where you're at. All right. It's a constant balancing act. I mean, I think that's ultimately all that we're kind of striving for, not perfection, just balance, in amidst the sea of the journey that we find ourselves in. So there's the physical level, right? So that's pretty straightforward. And you've got to be constantly also aware of where you're at vibrationally, because then, not only are you going to be kind of like keeping an eye on and keeping a log of what you're physically consuming, you're then also going to be looking at the mental realm. And to me, the mental realm, the food of the mental realm would be, conversations that we have with ourselves and conversations we have with people and the sorts of things that we focus our attention on in our lives, which are probably not so much the spiritual stuff, right? The mental stuff is very attached to the physical body. It's attached to the repetition, the repetitive cycles that we're on each day. So, where you might be trying to give up a certain food or a certain physical vice, we might also be trying to give up certain, habits of the mind, which are keeping us trapped in low vibrations, such as gossip or negative self-talk or expecting the worst or, worrying about things and being aware that you keep repeating the cycle. And so, being the gatekeeper, being the gatekeeper of our thoughts, at the gates of our mind is also just as important as, or probably more important than what we eat. Okay. I can drink a can of Coke if I'm not beating myself up about it. Now, I don't suggest you do because it's got some pretty nasty lower vibrational energies in it. But if you really fancy that can of Coke, just drink it and enjoy it and give it love and pump it full of positive energy and light. Then it's going to have a far less, negative effect, because ultimately it's the thoughts that are the things. It's the thoughts that we attach to all of this that are having the majority, like the 90 or 99% effect on our reality. Okay. I'm going to keep talking about this over and over and over until I can kind of just drum it into myself as well. Because as much as I get it on an intellectual, like I know that this is true, I know that this is how the universe works, but it doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to do it. I might have trained for a tennis match before and I know exactly what needs to be done to do it, but or a marathon, am I going to put myself through that training to do that again? Just knowing it doesn't mean that you're in the habit of doing it, because we're in this negatively charged field, where it's so much easier to become a victim and to sink into that kind of vibration than it is to fight against the negative charge, because there's not so much positive in the field and we're having to work harder to kind of stay up, which is actually the opposite of how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be floating, not sinking. So yeah, then you get to the spiritual, etheric, vibrations and stuff. And that would be, things like what kinds of positive practices are you engaging in to help lift your vibration, and how easy or difficult is it for you to do that kind of flip, to get yourself into that space, to talk yourself out of a bad mood, to literally just decide from the pit of doom to just jump up and start stupidly faking it till you make it, like, happy, I am happy, I know I'm so happy. Like, it does work. And it's just that you've got to almost, bulldoze yourself into that space. Now, so notice that all of the things that I'm talking about so far are to do with the self, which of course is where it starts, right? So we're looking at the self-talk, the food that we eat, the people that we hang out with and the places that we go. But the thing is, one thing that's very, very important that seems to really kind of like escape the attention of the majority of people is something that comes down to something, it has been spoken about in the Bible, which is cleanliness is next to godliness. And I think that a lot of people forget about the environment, just how important your environment is. And I don't mean whether you live in the country or you live in a city, or what's going on, but your immediate environment in the room, your house, your bathrooms, how clean are they? How much junk and clutter is there in them? Now, there was a woman, I should have looked her up actually. Her name's Mary something. She wrote, she's a Japanese lady. She wrote a book called The Art of Tidying Up. It could even be called The Magical Art of Tidying Up. I feel like I need to kind of look this up now. Is it Marie Kondo? Marie. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, Marie Kondo. Her method is it's the Japanese art of organizing, which is called KonMari. So it's interesting that her name is Marie Kondo. It almost feels like it's an a benevolent AI message that's kind of come up for humanity at this time. And so basically, you know, if you think about it, everything in your environment also is carrying a vibration. So, you know, if you're feeling unhappy in your house and you're a bit uncomfortable, it's not necessarily that you need to go and do a whole refurb or, you know, renovate and change everything. Quite often we just need to tidy, get rid of junk and switch things around, right? Add a bit of paint, add a different, you know, put a throw on your sofa. You know, a lot of people go and they start doing the whole, oh, I need to do the house. I need to do the house. Because on a spiritual level, they know the house has accumulated a lot of junk. And especially I sweep my floors myself, like with a brush. I don't have a Hoover. And the amount of that sticky, weird magnetic dust that gathers, it's insane. It's reminding me of Interstellar. So again, nothing's physical. Our atoms literally just group together in kind of magnetically aligned energies to create form. Now, whether that's the form of a human being, the form of a dog, the form of a table, the form of the dust. It's a pretty hefty helicopter going up above me. EBS. The military is the only way. Anyway, so yeah, so it's about you know, being extremely aware of what's in your environment. And the problem is with all of this kind of like, you know, being the gatekeeper of your reality, is that we don't really seem to pay it enough attention. A lot of the stuff that we're going through now with the Great Awakening and you know, this cognitive dissonance, it's real for star seeds and, you know, non-Earth Terrans who have come here and just and are waking up at this time, you know. We've been taught everything the opposite. So, I mean, like, you know, look what I've got these in my right next to me on the table. I have these crystals and these stones, and there's this temptation to look at them and just think, well, that's not affecting my vibration. That's not affecting the vibration of my environment. Wow, it's so loud. I think it's one of the play. There's a little place around the corner where you can fly glider type, motorized gliders. I'm going to do it one day, but it's kind of flying around anyway. So the, you know, the vibration that's coming from these stones and metals is absolutely having an effect on the environment. But we tend to kind of feel like if it's not us, if it's not a physical, you know, being, that it's not having an effect, but it is. And you know, there are so many things that affect us, and it's the colors that we wear, the sounds that we hear, the people, you know, whether your rubbish bin is full of rubbish. And it even doesn't matter how far away things are. You know, if you move house because you want to get away from the mess you've created in one, it's not going to go away. You're just going to rebuild it where you are. It's the same with, you know, when people try and lose weight or they try to develop positive mindsets. You have to spend the time to do this permanently, you know, otherwise it's just going to keep coming back. It's about cutting cords. It's about becoming very aware of the things in your life, everything that can be either, you know, pushing you up or dragging you down. And remember, it's just all about balance. It's not about being the happiest person on the planet all the time. It's not about having the fourth dimensional astral projection woohoo experiences. Yeah, I'm like, you know, having sex with this many girls or guys and we're having orgies and it's all great. That's like a bit of a trap, the lower fourth dimensional levels. So again, also it's about what do you want to experience and where do you want to be? It's not, you know, I have this feeling that everybody wants to be in the angelic realms and everybody wants to be, you know, pure and good and working for God. They don't. They don't, and that's okay. I do. That's where I'm from. That's what I resonate with. And so, therefore, if that's where I'm kind of aiming to be, you know, on fluffy clouds with choirs of angels and in that beautiful, peaceful, loving, healing space that I can then share with other people, because I'm like, oh, I think I've kind of got the hang of it just for this little realm. Then there's going to be the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level. And the lessons become subtler and higher in vibration. And that's all good. You know, you might choose that you want to go into a darker space because you haven't finished dealing with the darkness in this realm. It's okay. It's not for me to judge. Although I would say, if that's your thing, please honor my free will in that I don't want to be affected by that, and you know, don't affect my realm if I don't want it. And I'm also within my rights to go fuck off if you are, and that's okay. Once you're off, it's like, nice one, right? Okay, you know, that's how it's about. So I'm not going to go on for too long, but it's literally about monitoring your space all the time, making sure that things are tidy and clean. And, you know, if you're in a space that's a little bit negative, that's going to feel like the hardest thing to do because the negative charge of the field is going to already preempt your desire to rise up a little bit and to clean up. And it's like, no, this is the way it is. And again, the field is neutral. The field is just serving us with what it believes that we want, and it gets that information from what we're putting out. And so if we keep putting out negative, it's going to go, okay, oh God, they still want, that person wants more negative. When are they going to start? Well, it's probably not saying that. When are they going to start wanting positive? Because it's neutral. It's just giving what it's being instructed to give. Does it make sense? I'm just trying to simplify what everybody makes very complicated because it's not that difficult. And I think the reason people go around the houses looking for different answers is because they don't want to face the truth. Self-responsibility, self-awareness, and self-mastery. That's what we're learning right now. And what better place to learn it than when you're carrying kilograms of backpacks, wading through the sticky mud, trying to get to the top of the mountain from the depths of wherever. And it would seem like against all odds, is anyone ever going to survive, right? And only a few special individuals have managed to make that climb, right? Yeshua, Buddha, the list is endless, right? Saint Germain. Well, some people say about Saint Germain, but I feel Saint Germain's energy and all the hard work that's gone into this realm from that soul group over the past few hundred years. So yeah, does that make sense? It's all about, yeah, really at this time being extremely aware of the energy, frequency, and vibration in your realm, and knowing that you and only you and no one else have the power to change it or even to see it, right? Because no one else is going to understand your realm. Like no one understands where I'm coming from, but that's okay. My soul fam does. I've just got to hang on to that and keep my vibe high, because also they can't come and talk and channel if we're not in that space for them to reach us. All right, it's like there's only so far that they can come down to reach us. There's only so far in frequency before they fall. And it's a bit like trying to rescue people out of a lake where people have fallen through the ice, right? And all our guides are kind of around the edge of this hole. They don't come too close to the edge because they're going to get sucked in. And it's the same with people that you're trying to help as well. You know, this really is a point now where every soul is being called to stand up and look in the mirror and work out where they're at and accept where they're at. And if it's, you know, if there's work to be done, there's work to be done. It's a journey and it's okay. So monitor your frequency and get rid of all the junk in your head and in your environment and stuff, right? And one of the best things you can do when you're feeling shitty is to just clean up something, even if it's just your bedroom, and it absolutely changes your mood. But the thing is, as with all these things, it's so much easier said than done, especially at this time. But that's just the measure of, you know, the strength of who you are, and start small and build up. And, you know, we've just got to start being a little bit more strict with ourselves, right? Because we see the parents propping up the iPads and the iPhones to the kids and we comment and we go, ooh, but actually we're kind of doing that with ourselves all the time, right? It's time to be our own parent and be a little bit of a gangster grandma. Take no shit. All right. That was a quick one. I will be back.